So very good morning, students. So today we begin the grand revision for our subject Business Economics and Business and Commercial Knowledge. Today and tomorrow, let us target the completion of topics coming under Business Economics, and day after we devote for BCK. That's the plan as of now. So let's see that everything goes well with the grace of Almighty, which we always believe, right? Now, if you look at this slide, I have given you the topics which are going to be covered today. That is, day one coverage target has been given to you. So, how do you like this picture? It's like some news thing. Yes or no? I liked it, so I put it. So, look at this list of topics. What are the topics to be covered? One of you read from the board. I will even make it a little big so that it registers well. So what is that we are going to cover today? Yes, read from the board. List of topics to be covered. Be loud. One who's reading, please be loud. Somebody started? Yeah, do it loudly, please. Independent stock analysis, theory of demand, elasticity of demand, theory of supply, elasticity of supply, equilibrium analysis, theory of cost. Very good. So, two things she has listed out the topics. Is what is your problem, Sujana? Himalata? Not visible. So keep your notebooks open. Keep your notebooks open. Put today's date and write grand revision topic 1. I will help you. I will also spell out to my extent possible. So grand revision, put today's date, day 1. Title should be Business Economics, and we will start with the topic. As you see the slide, you will know. Okay. So have you put the date? Subject is Business Economics, day 1. See, everything should be in paper for you. What is done in the grand revision, my dear students, if you follow these steps, I'm very honestly telling in all humility, with the grace of God, that you will get very good marks. So this is some help which you do not know. I mean, because you're new to it. So that is why. So I think all this, the roadmap day, I told you, some wishes and stay positive and all those things. So yeah, what is that we are going to do? Look at this. Crucial components, chapter wise, and important and intricate questions, topic wise, we are going to discuss. And some G class exercises. So we will be doing some G class exercises where you will be answering, and those questions are repeated. So that is the main thing. Crucial components, chapter wise, and important and intricate questions. This is also given. So we will be doing crucial components chapter wise and important and intricate questions or topic wise, and some G class exercises. There you will understand, miss not questions. Okay, so for a quick revision, that would be very much helpful. Look at this through mobile. Already it's been that you have to read from mobile. How do you like this image? It's nice. Okay, so what is business economics? 60 marks and BCK 40 marks. Okay, that is also given. A reminder for the classification of the marks. List of topics, I think I read to you in the previous session itself. Yes. Now, let us go on to segment A. Now, nature and scope of economics, segment A, put it in bracket as general, where we discussed where we had please listen, 4 fundamental definitions. So dear students, these fundamental definitions are the basis for any economic theory or discussion. So don't think this as out of portion or out of syllabus. And in your book, for instance, the name of Adam Smith with his publication would be given. And as a corollary, we have 3 other definitions. Can you recollect the names of other 3 economists? Yes. Yes. Very good. So these 3 is very important. And how have we discussed with the publication, year of publication and definition. So that is one segment which you may not expect. So unexpected, because they start right away from business economics itself. Remember, business economics itself is premised upon general economics concepts and fundamentals. So it is an unexpected segment, but you have to note it as miss not. So when you go for the examination or before the examination, this is one miss not which you have to note it. Okay, very important, and kindly make a note of it. And I'm very happy that you were able to recollect the names of the economists. And let's straight away go to the G class exercise. You're going to do that. Okay. What does this segment contain? Meaning of the term oikos nomos. I mean, meaning of the term economics. Look at this. This is a Greek or Latin phrase. Can you tell me? This is a Greek or Latin phrase. Okay. So we will do it as an exercise here. So you understand that this is a Greek one. So note that oikos nomos is important. Okay, it's very important. Greek term oikos nomos. And you know it's a blend of 2 words. Can you tell me the blend with a meaning? Household management. Isn't it? Isn't it household management? Yes. And because they will give you household, nation, society frequently. So it is household management. Oikos plus nomos. See, theory questions, these are all, direct questions. So don't miss this. This is a direct question which you cannot miss, which you cannot afford to miss. So first one I've already given. This is the second one. Okay. Household management, expected repeated question. Then, what was now another thing which comes under this is a direct question and expected one is publication of the 4 economists who have given the 4 definitions. What are those definitions? Can you just say? They come under wealth definition, welfare, scarcity and growth. Now please answer this question as a G class exercise. What was the publication of Alfred Marshall? Publication, name of the book in which he published. Principles of economics. Like that question will be there. Please remember, please note it down, my dear students. You have to know the name of the economist. Take it down, and where you can miss is name of the economist. Yes. Second one is name of the definition. And what definition they have given? Publication is name of the book. And this Alfred Marshall is frequently asked. And I think I've given you the names of all the 4 books given by with the year. Okay? And year of publication. See, this is one miss not segment. General economics is a misnomer segment which you are going to be very familiar with. Okay. When was Adam Smith's book published? 1776. Very good. So this is the type of the question which they will ask you. Adam Smith is very important. Okay. Small help I have. For the sake of visibility, I am doing this. I am just keeping the question only for you. So look at this. What does this segment contain? I will make it also in some other font so that it is visible to you. Okay. Is it visible to you to some extent? Yes or no? Shreya? For how many of you it is visible, please? This part. So this is what we saw. Now, examples are given from that segment for you. Who is the father of neoclassical economics? Who is the father of welfare economics? That is where you will make a mistake. Professor Pigot. AC Pigot. I told you, no, he is the Alfred Marshall is the father of neoclassical economics. He brought about welfare definition. But who is the father of welfare economics? Professor AC Pigot. Okay. Look at this name. Father of welfare economics. Okay. Subtle differences. Now I'll ask you another one. Who is the father of economics? Who is the father of classical economics? Yeah, that is the point. Okay. When they ask you just father of economics, Adam Smith. Father of classical school or classical economics is Adam Smith. So neoclassical school, Alfred Marshall. Father of modern economics. Very good. So that is the clarity you need to have. My dear students, this will be the first question sort. See, general economic segment. How did we come to that particular chapter or we started is they ask you, they begin your question paper with such fundamental questions. That is why we have made it as segment A. Segment A is basically questions, will be like questions on fundamentals in economics. Are you clear with the father of different schools of economics? Are you clear with the different definitions? Okay. Now one of you tell me scarcity definition. Who gave and what is the definition? Scarcity definition. Who gave scarcity definition? Lionel Robbins. Very good. What is the definition? At least in your own words. Yes, yes. Yes, try out. Try out. Anybody? I mean, in your own words. If you can also take some phrases from there and give. Yes, something like that. No, economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce, isn't it? And now this ends is a repeated question. What is meant by ends in economics? Bonds. Correct. Perfect answer. It is bonds or human bonds. Repeated question. If you look at the scanners, if you Look at web references, even possible questions which have come out, you have this question being asked. Okay, so questions on fundamentals, you have to find it so that revision. Why revision of segment A? Because all fundamental aspects are given there in that topic. Is that clear? So that is the topic you have to go through very, very clearly. Now, come to the next one. Yes, this is a repeated question. Neutrality of ends was given by. Sure? 100%? Fantastic. Neutrality of ends, my dear students, it is given by Lionel Robbins. Okay, please note it. See, this question, students make a mistake. Therefore, it is important. Now, what is the meaning of neutrality of ends? Vijayanandam, you can say. Yes, you want to try? See, neutrality of ends means we are talking about, when you say neutral, we are not making any bias or we are not exhibiting any partial. What did Alfred Marshall say? So Alfred Marshall, he said we have to include only production of goods in economics. We do not include services. We will include only, not all goods, those goods that promote well-being of human beings. We will not include what? Hazardous substances. So like liquor or alcohol or drugs, they cannot be included in economics. That was Alfred Marshall's argument, which was corrected by Lionel Robbins, and he said that wherever there is production, consumption, exchange, distribution, that is economics. Let it be goods, let it be services, let it be good goods, let it be bad goods. Definite question, my dear students, and this is a complex one, to be very honest with you. Unless an explanation is given, you will not be able to understand. So repeatedly I say, this is a difficult question. So revise this segment from the material very carefully. Right? Okay, so neutrality means impartial, no bias. So what is that? We are including all goods, all services in economics, wherever there is production, distribution, consumption and exchange. Okay. Now let's continue with the exercise. Note neutrality of ends as for revision. Scope of economics. Now, questions on concepts: production, consumption, distribution and exchange. Please note that. Yes, please note this point, my dear students. Scope of economics, when you say questions on concepts, what do you understand by production, consumption, distribution and exchange? Now here, one example question. Dash implies creation of utility. Production, correct. Now, matching factor rewards is one question. So you are going to list out the factors of production and tell me the factor. Can you kindly do it? What is for land? Labor? Okay. Interest, sorry, capital? Organization? Okay. Now, forms of utility. We did a segment called forms of utility. This is for in and around question. Please note it. It will be like, it is not out of syllabus, but in and around the topic this is asked. Okay, so that is very important. Now, some important cues have collected based on previous question papers, which you have to note it here. Now, macro versus micro, you have to learn it with example. Please note this. In micro and macro, how they are asking is examples. For example, again I will say, inflation is macro concept. Okay, likewise. So these are the misnots I am showing you now. Please note it. Micro and macro have to be learnt with example. Revise the examples. That is how they are asking. Art versus science. Again, quotes. Quotes. Art versus science. Art versus science quotations. See, next example is there. You will see that I have given you as you are going to do the G class exercise. Okay. Art versus science. Know the quotes. We will see an example and then I will tell you. Positive versus normative. My dear students, positive versus normative. In the class itself, we did as an exercise only. The topic itself was an exercise. Do you remember that? So that also we are going to do now. Questions will be there. You are going to answer. And deductive versus inductive. Positive versus normative, empirical ones. Deductive versus inductive. Two things. Examples from economics. Who gave this? Who gave deductive method? Who belong to deductive school? Who belong to inductive school? So look at this cues. I just want to cut this and paste and give it in the what is this? Windows journal so that it's clear for you. Look at this. So positive versus normative. Why it is positive? Why it is normative? Okay, what it is positive. What it ought to be is normative. Remember that very clearly. Empirical ones in the sense examples. We will see now. There is an exercise which I worked out for you. You are going to do. And deductive versus inductive. Please remember who gave, which economists belong to deductive school, who gave inductive method is important, and examples from economics. Okay. Now we are going to go do the G class exercise based on that. There is a class exercise you are going to do it. Let us see. Okay. And before going to that, hints to be noted here. So identifying micro is difficult than macro examples. This is what students have told. From their side, they are able to locate aggregate variables easier than the what is that? What you call as micro examples. For example, say location of an industry. Is it micro or macro? Industry. Micro, yes. So many students feel that industry is an aggregation. It's a macro thing and they mark it as macro. So remember it is an industry. Okay, it's an example of micro. Now in microeconomics, it is called as price theory. It is a repeated question. Microeconomics is also known as price theory. And macroeconomics is known as aggregate economics or aggregative theory. Okay, remember that. And look at the examples: particular household, individual industries. And in macro, aggregative economics. Don't forget that. Two examples I've added: national income and full employment. Now, regarding micro, macro, identifying micro, you need to give time to identify than macro. Okay. and art and science, please revise the quotations given in the material for you because they are asking you that. Okay. Now, remember one small help we can give you is regarding art and science, economics as an art and science. Any policy which is mentioned or policy tools come under economics as an art because art is an application. Any economic policy, monetary policy, fiscal policy, exim policy, if they give you, please note it, they are coming under what? Economics as an art. Any policy, monetary policy, fiscal policy, growth policy, international trade policy, all these industrial policies will come under economics as an art. In science, they will give you a law of demand, law of supply, law of DMU, law of equimarginal utility, right? Laws of production. So laws or principles or theories will come under economics as a science. So one small clue I am giving, it is of great help. Please note it. Laws, concepts, doctrines, theories come under economics as a science. And any policy tool will come under economics as an art. Are you clear? Economic theories, principles, concepts, doctrines, however you want, you can take it. They are economics as a science. Is that clear? The science, if they give you as a concept. But if there is a policy tag, policy, name of a policy is mentioned, it will come under economics as an art because art is an application. Can you understand? And if it is given as a case example also, you must be able to locate it. So, for example, they'll say the industrial policy resolution of the contemporary era is unregulated or it is more a liberalized one. Is this economics as an art, as a theory, and it will be both A and B, none of the above. It will be economics as an art. But they will frame as a case example and give you. Is that clear, my dear students? How to in micro, macro, identifying micro examples is difficult, and in our material we have listed out. If you want, I can show that. And in micro and macro is relatively easy to identify. Coming to art and science, which is a policy tool, which is a theory or doctrine, that is where the essential difference between art and science is given. Okay. Now, so I have added some more examples for you. When you look at the PPT, as you read the PPT, it will be useful for the examination. Okay. Now, address this question. Look at the questions given. So you are going to do this an outright segment for questions on theory with examples. Remember, segment A and B are theory examples. Okay. Give the publication of Keynes. You write the answer there. Question is given. An answer key will be given to you. Okay. Please, if you want, I can copy and put it in the Windows journal. Is it clear, my dear students? Is it visible? Please do these questions, attempt it. Give the publication of Keynes. Give an example of possession utility. PCI, that is per capita income. By PCI, I am denoting look at the next one. Micro distribution is not different from macro distribution. You have to find out true or false. This is true or false. Okay, this question. Micro distribution is not different from macro distribution. Okay, then art is dash, science is theoretical. This is a fill up I am giving you. Art is dash, science is theoretical. This is what I meant by quotes. Go through. Yeah, can you please write down? You have to write down. Please write down. that don't answer me orally, please write down. It's a practice you're doing, a G class exercise, so that we can tick with the corrected with the key answers which is already there prepared for you. The term macro was coined by, you don't have to orally verbally answer, please write the answer in the notebook. Those of whom you are interested in taking down with the question, do it. Otherwise, please write the answer. And father of macroeconomics. So sample questions have been added for you to do it in the revision class. Have you finished? Have you completed the exercise? Done? Okay. I think I am sure you would have done it. Now let's go to the answer, right? Have you taken it down? Yes. Look at the answer key. Look at this answer key, my dear students. Publication of Keynes, the general theory of employment, money and interest. Expected question. Students might miss it, so only we have given to you. Okay. General theory of employment, money and interest. Example of possession utility. What is that possession utility? To enable the consumer to possess the commodity. All those facilities. So here one example is credit facilities. You can buy on credit. It need not be a discounts, some offers. All this is enabling the consumer to buy. You can buy on card, then cash on delivery. Whatever the consumer requires as a support to possess the commodity or buy the commodity. Micro distribution is not different from PCI, per capita income. Macro. This is one mistake students do. Please note it, very important. Per capita income, because this is income per head, they think it is micro phenomenon. No, it is calculated as an aggregate variable at the macro level. For the economy as a whole, per capita income is calculated. Please note it. This is a mistake done by the students. Okay. So I'm selecting the questions in such a way that it will be helpful for you. Go to the next one. Micro distribution is not different from macro distribution. False. Why? Because micro distribution is different from macro. Can you tell me how? Macro is aggregate, but that apart, in distribution you're just concentrating on micro and macro. Here look at the term micro distribution. Together you have to note. Yes, micro distribution is factor price fixation, whereas macro distribution is relative shares of these factors in the total income. In fact, in the class itself I was telling you. So what you know is the difference between micro and macro. But when you say micro distribution versus macro distribution, micro distribution is fixation of factor prices and macro distribution is identifying the relative shares of the respective factors in the total income. How much is rent in the total income? How much goes as profit in the total income? How much, what is the proportion of wages in the national income is macro distribution. Okay. Next one. Father of macroeconomics, I'm sure. Yeah. Term macroeconomics, macro was coined by Ragnar Frisch. Okay. And father of macroeconomics is Keynes. Please note this, very, very important. I suppose you have noted. Okay, what is this? And this question we left, art is dash, science is theoretical. So practical or empirical. Okay. See, also another thing. Art teaches us to do. Science teaches us to learn or know. So that is what I mean by quotes. So the chapter is full of quotes. Okay. Yes. So how many of you got all correct? Yes. How many of you got? How many questions were there? How many? Is there anybody who got all correct? Okay. Please tell me what number of questions? 7. Okay. How many of you got anybody 7 on 7? Who? Vidyanandam 7 on 7? First rank. I am awarding you first rank. Okay. 6 on 7. Okay. So Ahalya and who is this? 6 on 7. Very good score again. Akshaya, no? Don't mind my spelling. No? It's a prayer to the universe that you should get ranks. Vidyulata, no? She was a very, very meticulous worker from the day one. Vidyulata, I hope you get a rank also. Okay. 5 on 7. Okay, Ranjani, Harsh, and what about you fellows and Ganesh Ram? Ganesh Kumar. Don't mind it. So it is Ganesh Kumar. So Ganesh Kumar and who is that? Harsh also and Ranjani. Very good. Yes. So others also, yes, thank you for participating in this classroom exercise. Now let's move on to the next segment. Here, my dear students, please look at this one. What is that I'm about to tell you is, even in our Bharadwaj material, in the small box, if you could look at it, we have given different forms of utility, right? And they have been asking in few batches, unexpectedly. So you have to know what is the form utility, giving a form to the product so that it satisfies the want, isn't it? We define production as want satisfying part of a commodity, and just anything in a raw form as a semi-finished product is not going to satisfy your want. I think with examples we have done that. Form utility, place utility, available. Yes, raw materials to finished goods. Perfectly right. So place the utility is something which is readily available in your vicinity. Okay. Service utility. Have you heard of this service utility? So I've added, if you see, 3 different ones. That is arises when personal services are rendered by various professionals. That is a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer. What they give you is a service utility. It was asked in one paper, therefore I have given this. Dash utility arises when personal services are rendered. So I just want you to be aware that this segment, what was given in the box, is Now and then asked, once in a while. So look at that. And knowledge utility is when a consumer acquires knowledge about a particular product. Say for example, the utility of a mobile phone or a computer increases when a person knows about its various functions. Okay, that is in this digital era. Once you are aware that a mobile phone has multiple use, smartphone has multiple use, then you will buy it, isn't it? So you need to know about the various applications of a particular commodity to buy it. So that comes under knowledge utility and possession utility. This is where you did an exercise, isn't it? All that enables the consumer to buy the commodity, possess the commodity. And time utility, you know that it should be available at a time when you require. Am I clear? So please understand that this segment is going to be for. So look at this, service and knowledge and possession I have added for you. Okay. I've given possession. Yes. Let's go to the next one. Can we do a small exercise on deductive and inductive logic? Okay, I told you what was given under deductive and inductive logic. Please note the name of the economist and examples. Make use of the opportunity. You are revising. You are going back to the days, initial days when you began the class, right? Law of DMU is an example of dash reasoning. Sure? Yes? Fine. Correct. But look at how it's asked. Microeconomics, normative economics, positive economics, deductive economics. Now, the trick is here in the options only. This you will identify. But you can also give this as microeconomics, isn't it? It is not wrong. But look at the end here. Reasoning, logic. So the option should be deductive or inductive. So this is very important. Here, the misnote is the options which are given. The options are tricky. People just when they see microeconomics, they tick mark microeconomics. So my dear students, where the complexity lies here is choice of the options. So please look at this. I will show you now. Here, some students have opted this, which is wrong because the question is reasoning or logic. So please look at the end. Read the question till the end because 2 or 3 options may be appealing. Depending upon the question, you're going to answer. For that, that is a sample question here. Okay, go to the next one. Inductive method was given by classical school. Historical school is a perfect answer. So here the answer is false. So what are you going to revise under deductive and inductive? Examples from economics and who gave inductive and deductive school. And one thing I'll tell you very honestly, students are making a mistake in deductive and inductive. That is why separately as one part, we have added in our Bharadwaj material. When a question is asked on deductive and inductive, students are making a mistake because they do not understand this fundamental. That's why it comes under segment A. Are you clear now? Yes. We will move on to the next one. So, from positive and normative, my dear students, please note it from me. It is always tricky. Examples from positive and normative are always tricky 100%. Okay. So, every time we try the students to, so the material which you have, what we gave in Bharadwaj, completely exercise oriented topic that is. Please register all those examples in me. Okay. And even in the test we had, isn't it positive normative test? Please have the wisdom to do that. Okay. Now look at the question and do the answer. Is it clear? Should I end the show and paste it and give, or is it clear? Please tell me, help me out in the process. Is it clear? Should I cut, copy and paste? Please do this exercise now. It's visible, no? Now? My dear students, grand revision points please maintain separately, because once maybe I will be checking whether you have taken down the valid points. So kindly do that. This is an instruction for rest of the days also. Okay. Now do this exercise. Finish. Very good. Yeah. Yes, Harsh, have you done? Ganesh? Not even touched. All you recollect, don't you recollect what we done, what we did from the beginning? See, it's a good kind of a revision for you. High interest rates will dampen house prices. Pollution is a more serious problem in a developing country. This online academic program needed at the school level. Disposable income has declined by 3% over the last 4 years. Does currency devaluation fuel inflation? Should alternative fuels be subsidized? Write the answer only. Not, it's okay if you write the answer only. Have you all done? Harsh? Yes. Now the answer key. Please look at it, my dear students. The effort has been taken for whom? For you, not for me. Now the answer key. Please look at the answer key. High interest rates will dampen house prices. Perfect. Tick mark. Tick mark. Yes, you wrote like that. Normative, most serious problem. Normative. Good. Disposable income. What did you write? Okay. Okay. Fine. Good. Now, please hold this premise in mind. Positive can have numbers, normative can have numbers. That will not be the criteria for segregation. Point one. Second point is this most and these are also judgments. Because I still remember a student, they were asking, unemployment is a serious threat in developing countries like India. So something like serious is a tag we are giving. Most very harmful. All these are an estimation. So in normative, we make an estimation, isn't it? We make some value judgments. We may be biased. We may take a particular side. Okay, all this will come under normative because positive is as it is. register this year in normative, good and bad, right and wrong, do's and don'ts, philosophies, all will come under normative. Okay? Please that Q, topic Q. And I will tell you that this is a complex segment. So revision is very important. Whatever questions, class test, class examples. In class exam, in Bharadwaj material, what we have done is different kinds of examples. Maybe they will only change. If you have given inflation, they will give poverty. Something like that. And book back questions. You can go through. Okay. Okay. Now we are coming to segment B. And these are the aspects where the students make a mistake. Okay, that has been collected for you and given. Definition of business economics with the names of economists they never studied. After the 4 fundamental definitions, no other names you don't note at all. Do you remember the name of any economist, business economist, the quotes which they have given? Yes, very good. Spencer and Segelman. One simple name, she has given a very difficult name. Spencer and Segelman. McNair, you remember? Merriam. Joel Dean. So, this is where the students flunk and you have proved that you are a true student because you also flunked in this segment, isn't it? So, that is very important with the definition. With the code, you please study that. Okay. Now, so look at this. Business economics is the integration of economic theory with business practice for facilitating decision making and forward planning. Who gave this? You can think and try. And another tricky question, this is an example question. Another tricky question is identifying the operational issues versus environmental issues. My dear students, your operational issue is nothing but micro. Environmental issue is macro. Okay, in once I remember they have given micro and macro only, and in the options they gave environmental operational issues. And I remember a student saying that, ma'am, they did not give the options correctly. So please remember, operational issue is micro. You may forget it. Please note it. Yes. So that is one. Now let me give you, see, there is an example. See, this chapter, how we have covered is what you should know. Definition of business economics with the names of the economists, point 1. Okay. Please remember this very well in the segment. Second is identifying the environmental and operational issues. Third one is now with an example. Now try this. Producer union comes under macro or micro or environmental or operational. Micro. Sure? Sure? 100%? Micro or macro? Operational or environment? Environmental. Macro issue. Producers union. It is not something which can be calculated individually. Not individualistic. It is not particular household, it's not particular firm, it is not particular industry. It's a union. It's a federation. And it can be globally. Okay, so this is the question where you make mistake. That's why I've given you this. Okay, please understand. So business economics segment B need thorough revision. Okay, from Bharadwaj material. Now the next sample question is terms are asked. I'm only telling you what type of questions are coming from this segment. Terms like what is the meaning of the term pragmatic? What is the meaning of the term normative? Okay, that those all come under features. Under features of business economics, you will know business economics is pragmatic. Business economics is normative. So, what is the meaning of pragmatic? Look at it. Pragmatic is practical, empirical. Normative is what it should be. So, that is one type of question from this segment. Okay. Now, look at this question. Business economics is positive or normative? Normative. Correct, normative. Now, revise the explanatory notes given for terms used in this segment. Okay. Now, if you look at our business economics with examples we have discussed. Okay. And look at one example is inventory analysis, linear programming. All these terms come under examples. So, you have to revise this chapter. So, after this break, you have a small G class exercise using all this. Okay, we will do that. Okay, you are identifying through this revision. We are only seeing, okay, this is where I am not well prepared. See, you were not able to give the names of business economists as you were able to give the name of the fundamental definition, no, economists. So, my dear students, everything should be taken down in the notebook. Grand revision tips, topic wise, intricate, miss not, I should find it in your notebook. Is that clear? Okay. Now look at the next one. Business economics. This is the exercise. Please, you are going to do this exercise. You want me to copy paste or is it clear? See, somebody is saying, it's so big. Why you are saying you are not able to see? Isn't it? You were some good boy who's telling like that. So really, if you are not able to see, you tell me. So don't have this as a fun time. Is it clear, students? Please let me know. Is it okay? Yes? No? Why it is like this? Then this is better, no? What do you say? Then I will put it in the... Yes, please. Take down the questions. Or no, you can even answer directly. It's not a problem. So the segment focused here is business economics. Please note it. Segment focused is segment B. We are doing business economics. Who is disturbing Vijayanandam? Gokul Raj? Are you an expert in economics? No, no. I'm trying to make you an expert within next 2 days. Okay, so take down the points. See whether you can answer the questions. Try these. With the way you're looking at, no, it sounds too new. See, you will receive a capsule also. Should be given to you. Okay, do that question. I just want to remind you, our material has a separate segment called business economics. Have you noted that question? Segment A. Remember these all, segment A? Now look at segment B. Segment A is a big part. Look at segment B. Finish the exercise. I want to show you the segment B. You have not yet written, finished? Finished, Kumaresh? See, Jashwant, have you completed? All are easy for you? If you take down the question itself, it's enough. I just want you all to be sure that the material is there very much with you. Finished? You were able to identify answers for all? Yes? What you didn't see? One question. Yes. Students, please look at this topic. I am sure that you know that segment B had an exclusive focus on nature and scope of business economics. In fact, I have introduced you to the names of several economists who have quoted what is meant by business economics. So please look at this chapter. Please study from Bharadwaj material because so many examples, references have been given to you based on the classification as operational and environmental. So please look at this topic, what we did, the purpose of business economics, how does it facilitate decision making and forward planning. That is the basis thing, no? So look at this topic. Do you remember? Different types of decisions were taught to you, strategic, tactical and operational. So we have taken that extra effort to make you understand the significance of business economics. Okay, some examples have been given, key points. This is where you will be in a fix. I mean, they will ask you questions. Business economics comprises of economic knowledge, logic, theories, analytical tools. One among this will not be given, there will be an odd man out. You have to identify the odd man out like this. This chapter is fully like this only. Look at it, why it's called applied economics, why it is an interdisciplinary science, what is the meaning of interdisciplinary science. Look at this Mansfield, look at his definition, Spencer and Segelman, definition of economic, integration of economic theory with business practice. Is this a question asked? Was this the one asked here? What was asked in the question? Define business economics in terms of use of economic analysis in the formulation of business policies. Have I given that also for you? Joel Dean, yes. Use of economic analysis and formulation of business policies, expected question. Joel Dean is an expected question, an expert in managerial economics. Business economics is popularly known as managerial economics. I suppose you know that. And here Joel Dean has written a lot of books on managerial economics. Okay, please note that. My dear students, look at this. Micro and macro, nature of business economics. Please look at this. Terms have been explained to you with examples. Look at this. What comes under micro? Demand, supply, cost, production, profit. Did you note that? Look at macro. General price level, income, employment, government policies, and examples of those. Please look at it. Difference between micro and macro. And each element has been explained to you. What is the meaning of pragmatic? What is meant by normative? Okay, so please remember all this. Normative is prescriptive and positive is descriptive. Normative is prescriptive. Now look at this. Operational issues. All these are operational. Look at it. Choice of business and its size. Product decisions. Technology. Factor combinations. Pricing. Sales promotion. Financing and management of investments. And inventory. And each issue was discussed with example if you look at it. Each and everything has been discussed with example. So don't say you don't know. So what is production technology? What comes under production analysis? What is inventory management? Under what does inventory management come? What is an inventory policy? What is ABC analysis? All this have been given to you in a detailed manner. Look at this linear programming. Look at this term linear programming. So it is nothing but a mathematical technique to choose the optimum point. And what is an optimum point? Maximum benefit at minimum cost. Do you understand all this? Please note the concepts coming here. Profit analysis, risk and uncertainty, all that comes under operational issues. So far what we saw comes under operational, even inventory, profit analysis. Okay, all this. And in macro, look at it. Types of economic system, stages of business cycle, trends in national income, employment, prices, saving and investment, government economic policies, competition policy, monetary policy, all types of policies come, financial sector, capital market, and socio-economic organizations like trade unions, producer union, consumer union, cooperatives, all come under macro issues. So look at this. So are you now going to mark this as a very important segment? This is where your revision is lacking. Segment B, I myself I can observe revision is lacking. Now did you locate the answer for this? Yes, for the first one it is. Okay. Subject matter of economics is divided into. Yes, which is micro and macro. Business economics is, what is the option? Yeah, this one. Please note it in the class I told you. That is where again. See, business economics is both, positive and normative. More normative than positive. Please be careful with that question. Pragmatic means. Very good. Okay. Yes. But Okay. Yes. Business economics is interdisciplinary. The term interdisciplinary implies has inputs from other subjects. Okay, the last one. See, option C, not D, option C. Okay, repeated kind of questions where mistakes are possible, as I was telling you in the class. Again, next exercise from the business economics segment itself. Now do it. Dash analysis pertains to the behavior of the consumers in the market. Dash analysis explains the relationship between input and output. For maximizing profits, the firm has to evaluate its dash decisions. Stage of business cycle is a dash issue. Consumer union is an example of dash issue. Dash theories pertain to rules the firms can use to minimize the cost. Profit analysis is an example of dash issue. Working of financial sector is an example of dash issue. Pricing policies is an example of dash issue. Operational or environmental. Demand forecasting is an environmental issue, true or false. Attempt this exercise, please. Anybody has written in a maths where you can write the date, name of the subject, date. Not one. Last year. Last year. Subject exercise done. Make a difference. Each statement exercise done. Chapter 3 revised. And then you know we are now in segment D only. Rest of the pages have to follow, right? So day 1, if you follow that only, it is perfect. Okay. So nature and scope of physics economics is must for revision. As of now, I understand that. Have this now. All of you are taking it down. From back to front and one without the writing is there in your class. Okay. Shall I release the answer key? So the answer key is going to be released. Okay. Demand analysis, look at this, I have highlighted. Demand analysis pertains to the behavior of the consumers in the market. Behavior of the, so I told you, remember in demand analysis, have consumer perspective, for production have supply, for supply have producer's perspective. So please remember, they are tricky questions. My dear students, segment B is for tricky question. Go to the second one, production analysis explains the relationship between input and output, because we use the term production function. Do you remember? Q is a function of L and K. Production analysis explains the relationship between input and output. Go to the next one. For maximizing profits, the firm has to evaluate its investment decisions. for maximizing profit, because how much of input cost, what are the various costs involved, what is the expected returns. Stage of business cycle is a macro issue. Anything, if it is trade cycle or business cycle, it is not a macro issue, it is a macro issue. Inventory management theories pertain to rules that the firm can use to minimize the cost associated with maintaining finished products. Investment management rules. I think for this only I gave you ABC analysis and all. Prioritize A, B, C. Okay. Profit analysis is an example of micro issue. My dear students, they will give profit is depending upon a firm's cost and benefit. It cannot be worked out for the whole economy. It differs from firm to firm, nature of the industry, nature of the business, amount of money invested, all this. So profit analysis is an example of micro issue. Then working of financial sector is an example of macro issue. Financial sector is not working differently for you and me. See, all the SEBI guidelines, financial market, capital market, money market, they are aggregate ones, aggregate market phenomenon, right? Then pricing policy is an operational issue. Answer is environmental or operational. Remember, it is an operational issue. Means what? Micro, right? And demand forecasting is an environmental issue. True or false? False, because it is a micro issue. Firm, pricing policy cannot be done for all. A firm fixes the price of the commodity depending upon its raw material requirement, labor cost, whatever a physical capital investment. So pricing policy is not an aggregate calculation like national income, employment, inflation, poverty. It will vary according to the business. And financial sector, financial markets, capital markets, money market, they are all about many institutions. So they are not about a single, it is not different for you, it is not different for me. So it is a macro phenomenon. It is a macro phenomenon. Form. Depending upon, see, that is why when we did micro and macro difference, no, micro distribution is factor price fixation. That will vary from firm to firm depending upon the factors we are using. Here, prices of commodities, that is pricing policy. That you cannot have a uniform, you cannot even claim a uniform one, right? So remember that. And demand forecasting, because of forecasting, some people think it's macro. No, each firm has to undertake this exercise, right? Therefore, it becomes a operational issue, not an environmental issue. My dear students, these are template statements for you to understand how questions are roped from this segment. Please, Shreya, look at this. In financial sector, for you to understand, I gave examples like this. RBI, SEBI guidelines. Is it different for you and me? No, it is a common thing. That is what comes under environmental issues. My dear students, segment B, Ganesh. See, the topic literally is a spoon feeding for you. All those sentences will be, if you look somewhere, those sentences will be there for you. For maximizing the profit, the firm has to evaluate its investment decision. Do you see that? The sentences and the meaning is taken from the concept. So please be careful that segment B, from the grand revision, I noticed that you need 2 or 3 levels of preparation for it. Okay, I'm honestly saying segment B, mark it as important. That will be like tricky, very technical. Unless you know all this, you cannot write. And it has been spoon fed to you, my dear students. Look at it. See, look at where demand forecasting comes. It will come under operational issues. It is not an environmental issue. Is that clear? Okay. Yes. Now, go to take down next chapter. Lesson 2, Law of DMU. Please look at what is given in the heading. Very important for numericals. My dear students, are you going to note this or not? Very important for numericals. Calculate MU, calculate TU. Calculate MU, calculate TU is a question. Okay, and on the concept of utility. I will write it here. Yes? What exam you are having? Your college board? I didn't see it. Okay, please listen to this. Three points. On the concept of utility itself, they will ask you. And third one is law-based question. Okay, these are the three. This is how you have to prepare. Whether I am able to compute TU from MU, MU from TU, question mark will be there. Second thing is, do you remember we saw a set of yes or no or true or false type in the class? That's how we began. Utility is not same as satisfaction. Utility is not same as usefulness. It is a subjective phenomenon. You remember this? It is one satisfying power of a commodity. It has physical existence, true or false. It has a legal claim, true or false. You remember that? That is what you have to revise under concept of utility. And law-based question from the table, from the graph, from theory. Like when mu is 0, what is tu? This is a graph-based question. Tu is maximum. Like that. Okay, so remember that. Now look at this. Who coined the term utility? Please tell me this. Who coined the term utility? Yes, Stanley Jevons. Perfect answer. It will be like, the first chapter. Who gave the law of DMU? Alfred Marshall. Okay. Who used cardinal approach in utility analysis? Okay. Meaning of the term utility? Want satisfying power of the commodity. 4 sentences will be given. Tick mark the correct one. Okay. Water diamond paradox. What did you understand? We saw no water, value in exchange, value in use. Water has value in use, but diamond has value in exchange. Very good. Then, yes, this is what we are going to see now. Yes. Okay. Please do this exercise now. Previous one. This one. Yes. Okay. Yes, my dear students, you are going to do this beautiful exercise. Yes, look at this animation and all for you. I have done to attract you to the class. Somehow into. So do this. Do the exercise. My dear Ganesh, you are here to study today and not disturb your fellow classmate. Dashwan, take down the points. Try the question. You write the answer because I'll tell you something later. Secretly, not in front of these fellows. I'll tell you something. You write the answers, it's enough. Because if you take questions, you take time, no? And remember the agenda we have today. That much completion today. Are you not going back to those days where we did these lessons, my dear students? We have done, isn't it? Same classroom. Is it? Not there. See? Good memory. And now this each one I'm going to call out your name and I'm going to ask you the answer. So that you will feel happy about it. You are respected and you are granted the opportunity. Or for a question you can raise hands if you know. Then that fellow we can ask. How do you see? Have you all done the calculation also? Completed, right? Yes, sir. Shreya, can I help you? What is not visible? Font is. See, first question is utility is defined as. You're going to write. Ahalya. Allow everybody to read, please. We will give you the opportunity to answer. See, some fellows are here. They have not touched the book. So we have to find out those fellows. Next, DMU is Gauss's second law, true or false. Okay, no, I'm not asking you to answer, please. For some people for whom the font is not clear, I'm just reading. Law of equimarginal utility is also known as law of dash. Nobody should answer. People who cannot read the question. For those fellows, I'm helping. Should I copy and paste it, Shreya? Utility has a material or physical existence. That is one. Okay, true or false, you're going to say. Utility has a material or physical existence. Then, Marshallian utility analysis is based on dash approach. Marshallian utility analysis is based on dash approach. Okay, last one, formula for MU. Formula for MU. Is what? I want you all to register. This is one repeated question. Students are making a mistake. That is why I made like this. I want you all to know. And in selected portions, when we did, I was insisting that. I was telling you, please remember this. See, this revision is for you to know your own miss not segments. Each one of you will know. Okay, this I missed, this I missed. I should know. Okay, scores are only secondary. Okay. Okay. First question, if anybody knows the answer, raise your hand and you are going to answer. Utility is defined as. What is the instruction? If anybody knows the answer, raise your hand. Who is knowing the answer, raise your hand. Yes, please answer. Okay. Yes, correct. DMU is Gauss's second law. True or false? True or false? Somebody said true. Answer is there? Okay, noted. Equimarginal utility. That law is also known as the law of. Yes, Sahana, you got the answer? Law of substitution. Law of equimarginal utility is also known as law of substitution. Okay. Utility has no moral or legal significance. True? Good. Utility has material or physical existence. Very good, yeah. You are very good in DMU. Okay. Marshallian utility analysis is based on. Okay. Formula for MU. Yes, two formulas you can write. Okay. Delta TU by delta Q you can write, or TUN minus TUN minus 1. Both are allowed, isn't it? Delta TU by delta Q. Okay? Yes. Now answer for this marginal utility is given. What is here? 36. All of you got 36 there? All of you got 36 there? Didn't do. Why? Do this also. Okay. Everybody did this? Others? What happened? Question mark is there? No? Okay. Under marginal utility you have 20, 16, 12 question mark. Okay. And in total utility 20 question mark 48 56. 20 question mark 48 56. Now fill up the question mark. To just being a revision, no, for a recollection, I just worked out this also and gave you, so that you will know. MU. You ask the answer. Which one? 56. Did I ask the answer? They are all working out. Completed. Okay, what is the answer? Both first question mark. Second one. Okay. So this slide, please mark it as very, very important for DM. Mark it as very. See, whatever possible they are going to ask. Now, I will ask you one question here. With that, we can. At the point of saturation, what is MU? What is TU? At the point of saturation. 0. Okay. Next one. When TU declines, what is MU? Repeated question. Mark these two as repeated question in the examination. Okay. Now, see, my dear students, look at our Bharadwaj material also. So all this has been given to you completely, isn't it? On the concept of utility and how is the table constructed and exceptions to the law. So look at the calculations and all we have, right? And I do not want any more point. Okay. So when you do a revision from this material, I'm sure for you there will not be any hiccups in the examination. Okay. So with this chapter is over, and this slide is very important also. Okay. So here it is indifference curve, but let us see in our PPT. Shall we move to the next topic? Are you ready? Yeah, you can please leave. Others I'm asking. You want a break or we can continue?